all of this, we'll call after the break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's still the Perfect Point Show, and this is the business segment. And like I said before we went to break, we're going to talk about the opportunities available in Ogun State as per businesses, and of course talking generally about the business environment in the state. Ogun State was 45 years old yesterday. Congratulations to us all. And I have in the studio the Commissioner for Trade, Industry and Investment, Ogun State, in person of Mrs. KIKELOMO LONGE. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming on board.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
You're welcome. All right, so let's get into it first by talking about the major responsibilities of your office, the laid down responsibilities that your office is meant to give to the businesses in Ogun State.
So we at the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment have responsibility for all the industries operating in the state. Now, by industries are those in the production sector. So right, irrespective of size, right from the micro businesses to the small, medium, large, and even the multinational corporations operating in the state, of which we have quite a number. As you know, Ogun State is the industrial capital of Nigeria, having the largest number of industries by state in the whole of the country. So that's it for the industry aspect. For trade, we also overlook the commerce or trade aspect of business operations in the state. So, you know, a number of the markets, trading, commerce, that also comes under my ministry.
Okay.
The third aspect is that of investment. And, you know, investments are actually very essential for any economy to grow. So by investment could be local investment in country or foreign investment. It could be investment from, you know, private sector. It could be investment from multilateral agencies like the, you know, World Bank, the IMF, and a number of all these other bodies that have monies to allocate to a state like ours. So my ministry has responsibility for all three aspects.
Okay.
And overarching all this is His Excellency's vision to make Ogun State an attractive destination for businesses.
Okay. All right. So those are the ones listed. Now, if you have to compare it with what is actually on ground, what the ministries are actually doing for businesses, how can you rate the ministry's performance so far?
I would say that we're on course. We haven't reached the promised land yet. As you know, last year was a rather peculiar year, given the challenges around the COVID-19 pandemic. During a lot of months last year, you know, there was lockdown, restriction of movement. Technically, Nigeria went into recession. It affected, you know, consumer purchasing power and so on and so forth. But I would say that those challenges also created opportunities, right? And one big opportunity that we see is the opportunity for import substitution. And Ogun State has enormous strengths in that regard. What do I mean by that? A lot of industries, a lot of businesses, you know, import a lot of their inputs, right? Why can't those businesses now look inwards and see what can be used locally?
Yeah.
To the quality, to the standards, the volumes that they expect. On the other hand, for us as government, how can we help those primary producers of some of these inputs to develop their standards, to develop the products, to meet the requirements of some of these industries? So as an enabler, government has the responsibility, and we're working very hard on this, to get all these inputs to be eligible for consideration and use by a number of industries. So it's win-win for everyone. Rather than the industries be looking for foreign exchange, be going through the stress of, you know, importing things through the ports and all the delays and associated costs of going through all that trouble. Well, it's right there in country. Why can't you just develop these local substitutes? And it will help grow the economy, to create jobs, it will help encourage people, It will have, implications on security because people will be engaged. It will have implications on social welfare. It will have implications on so many things. So just that import substitution is an opportunity. It will also then help the value of our currency, to be honest. So there's so much that we can learn from this. For many years, we're used to just, click on the button, import from various parts of the world and just bring them in. But what can we produce locally? How can we add value locally so that we can help the local economy grow? That was an advantage from one. It became very obvious last year when you just couldn't bring things in and you still needed to run your machines and so on and so forth. So that's one area that we're quite big on in my ministry as well.
Okay. All right. Looking at businesses now, from your own perspective, that you've said your own responsibility, you've said how far you've come, what do you expect businesses to do? What do you see as a responsibility of business owners? Because it can't be just one way.
Sure.
You're doing your own part. What part do you expect business owners to actually play so that you can move Ogun State forward?
So there are a number of tracks where business owners can come in.
Okay.
And I'll just share a few. For example, just deciding, learning to do things right. Go the proper way, avoid shortcuts, be fair, be transparent, be just doing it right. Okay. Above board. It would help the entire economy. Then employ local citizens. There are quite a number of deserving, eligible, qualifying indigents of Ogun State that are available for employment by these businesses.
Okay.
Then also, like I mentioned a few moments ago, looking inwards. What can we source from the state? What are those things that we can, rather than get from outside of the country or outside of the state, how can we get that and empower our people, train our people, and of course, it goes without saying they should pay their taxes, pay their rates, because really it's win-win for everybody. When they pay their rates, government can then, have resources to meet the responsibility.
To do more.
So those are some of the hints and tips I want to give our businesses operating in the state.
All right, okay. So Ogun State being one of the most industrialized states in Nigeria now, what do you think actually contributed to it having so much industry? Is it the environment? Are there tax reliefs? There must be something that actually makes people or businesses to actually come here. So what exactly is it that is being done right that is attracting businesses here?
Well, there are a couple of factors. First of all, Ogun State has some, what I would call natural advantage. Okay. If you look at our location, right, there's a reason why we're called the Gateway State.
Gateway to Lagos?
Gateway to many things. Gateway to prosperity. Gateway to doing business right. Gateway to, a conducive environment. There's so many reasons. We are the Gateway State. We're the only neighbor that Lagos has in Nigeria. The only state that, borders Lagos.
That's true.
You cannot go to any part of Nigeria from Lagos without passing through Ogun State. So we're a gateway state. But that said, we also have borders to all the southwestern states, apart from Ekiti State. We are bordered to Republic of Benin as well. So we're actually the gateway state. But that said, we have large land mass, which of which can be cultivated for agriculture. We have over the years, acquired that reputation. Today, we have 13 industrial hubs across the entire state. Wow. These industrial hubs host cluster of industries where the industries come together. They are all located, in the hub, okay. And there's some common services, shared services, and we intend to actually improve on those and do more. When you have them like that, it's easier for them to operate. Yes, there are challenges with infrastructure with a number of them. We're looking into that. His Excellency is quite passionate about improving the business enabling environment in the state. We want to increase our ease of doing business ranking at the subnational level. It's a World Bank measured index where they measure all the states, and we want to improve the ranking of Ogun State, and there are lots of tracks, being pursued on this. We have activated a number of initiatives to ensure that the business enabling environment in Ogun State improves considerably.
Okay, let's go over to the challenges. On the tip of my mind, people assume that government has unlimited funds to spend, and government should be able to do this, government should be able to do that, while chasing us up and down for taxes. Maybe that's perception, which is definitely different from reality. So from your point of view, your office now in terms of businesses in Ogun State, what are the challenges that you've encountered?
So, challenges that businesses face?
No, your ministry now.
Regarding? Okay.
Businesses or business environment in Ogun State.
Okay. We are very passionate about helping our businesses operate with less pain. We want to make Ogun State to maintain that position as the preferred investment destination of choice. We know that there are concerns around infrastructure. Some of the roads, for example, electricity supply, and some of those things that affect smooth operations of businesses, especially the industries that produce. The good news is that there are plans to tackle these challenges to the extent that we can. For example, in terms of power, the Bureau of Electrical Services has proactively gone round to audit various parts of the state, especially our industrial hubs, to see what are their power needs, what exists now, and what gap exists, and how can that gap be filled. For roads, everybody knows about the challenges with roads. Again, His Excellency, in his wisdom, has a strategic approach to addressing the challenges with roads. As you know, some of the major roads are receiving attention now. The Abeokuta-Shagamu Expressway, for example, is being fixed. It's going to be very well done. It's actually almost ready for commissioning now. Ijebu-Ode Epe Expressway as well is an alternative to the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, and that would actually ease movement of goods and services, from Ogun State, and also for those passing through Ogun State. So we believe that some of these infrastructural developments that are being pursued are game changers. They would make a lot of difference, open up different parts of the state, ready for investments as well.
Okay. All right. On this show, the few business owners that we've brought, two of the challenges they made mention then, funding and tax. So from your office perspective, how are you helping businesses regarding to funding? It's one thing for something to exist, it's one thing for people to know that it actually exists. So what are the opportunities that your office provides as for funding to businesses, and how aware are they of this opportunity?
Thank you. That's a good question. So for funding, let us just focus during this conversation on the MSME sector.
Right.
That's the micro, small, and medium enterprise sector.
Okay.
They have business membership organizations like Ogun Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, and some of all these other companies that we work very closely with. They're major stakeholders to our ministry. So for the MSMEs, for example, there are a number of intervention funds that we assist to support them to access. For example, the Central Bank of Nigeria has the NISRAL Microfinance Bank loan that is at single digits for MSMEs. They can get up to 10 million naira facilities, and at single digits, I think that's quite attractive.
Yeah,
however, there are conditions. So what we do as a ministry is to help support the MSMEs to qualify for, as they prepare to qualify for these loans.
Okay.
There's a training, so we try and facilitate that. We try and make them aware through this business member organization so that they're aware of it and they can access it.
Okay.
Secondly, there's a joint facility between the Ogun State government and the Bank of Industry,
Okay.
where again Ogun State contributed part of the money. It's ₦1 billion. We contributed 500,000, the 500 million, and BOI contributed 500 million, and we give that to MSMEs as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
How well are they? Because, I mean, 1 billion is a lot, and even if you have to divide by 10 million, it should go around, I mean, to a large extent. Are people actually, are businesses actually taking advantage of this?
Yes, they are. What I would suggest to businesses is to take steps to join some of these business member organizations.
Okay.
So you have the Ogun SIMA, you have the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, you have SMEDAN, you have National Association of Small Scale Industries, you have Association of Small Business Owners. There are quite a number of those associations. So at that association level, because there are thousands and thousands of them, so we deal with them as an association. Okay. They can become aware of what and what is available for their members and what it will take to qualify.
Okay. I'm sure they're listening.
Yeah.
All right. Over to tax. There's one thing for an authority to request for something, and for the subject to feel, why are they requesting for it? I don't feel like paying because I don't think they're using it appropriately or for whatever reason. So there seems to be a mismatch between what the reason government wants tax and the perception of the populace to why they should pay. How can you demystify this so that businesses can willingly pay and see it as it's their responsibility to pay, not like they're doing government a favor?
Well, it's about transparency and fairness.
Okay.
Right? So look at, you can see road construction all over the state.
Okay.
Work is being done. So that just demonstrates taxes at work.
Okay.
Right? There's so much that the government has so much responsibility, and how much is our allocation from Abuja? Right? So IGR is key, internally generated revenue is key, and His Excellency has been very transparent. He communicates, we can see projects being embarked upon.
Okay.
So it's about give and take. Taxpayers will see their taxes at work. You see a lot of construction going on. You see various things that have been done by this government and continue to be done. You will see visible, tangible projects that taxpayers' monies are being used for.
Oh, okay. Just off business though, what has your ministry done? Let me not say, well, how far has your ministry gone in providing employment for the youth of the state, of Ogun State? Or is your responsibility just solely directly to businesses?
Well, they're interrelated, right? Because
Okay.
businesses are run by human beings.
No, sure.
So one of the things that we've done and will continue to do is to encourage our businesses to recruit locals, that's indigenes of the state. There's a job portal. You know, we are very vocal about getting our industries, when they have needs, manpower needs, they should look into the portal. We have great talent in this state for them to recruit from indigenes that are residents in the state. Then also in the area of capacity building, because you want to train these people, you want to develop entrepreneurs. That is part of what we do as a ministry, you know, entrepreneurship, capacity building, human capital development, all very essential for us. There's something else I should have mentioned, and that is also helping businesses prepare to be export ready. That is a window that is available, and a lot of people are not aware. So we're also working with the Nigeria Export Promotion Council, the Ogun State office, okay, helping businesses become aware of the opportunities that are available. The Africa Growth Opportunity Act, AGWA, under that, and other attractive opportunities for businesses to actually export their products and earn some foreign currency.
That would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. All right. Looking at all the opportunities that your office offers to businesses, investment, and trade, Are there areas that you feel businesses are not tapping into fully when it comes to the opportunity that your ministry actually offer?
There are so many attractive opportunities in Ogun State. And I'll just share one or two.
Okay.
If you look at agro-processing, primary agriculture is good, but it doesn't give you as much margin as when you process, when you semi-process, or when you even do further processing. Okay. When you process this product, the shelf life is longer, you get better margins, you know, it's more predictable. So that is one area that we're partnering with the Ministry of Agriculture with to help improve the value chain, so that there's a degree of forward integration that will put more money in the pockets of the farmers and agro-processors. Okay. That is one area. And there's so many things. You know, Nigeria has a large population. The demand is high. The consumers need a lot of products, you know. And so why should we import when we can produce it locally? You know, when you produce local, it's fresher, it's more nutritive, you know.
And you're not exposed to dollar rates.
Exactly, exactly.
All right. This question is more in line with your own experience now. You have venture capital as experience. That's one area that I discovered that many businesses don't even understand, not to talk of how they can actually even get into it. When you talk of funding, they think of bank loans and bank loans. They don't really know what angel investing is, venture capitalists. They don't. Can you enlighten us more on venture capitalists?
Okay, so venture capital, you can also term it private equity. It's a form of capital provided by a club of investors. A club of investors subscribe to a fund, a venture capital fund. That fund is managed by a professional venture capital or private equity fund manager, and it's available for investments in businesses.
Okay.
These investments usually take the form of equity. That's the own part of the business, only for a period. It could be 3 to 5 years, maybe less, maybe more. They go in, buy at a particular price, and then they partner with the owners and management of the business enterprise to help grow the businesses, and then after a particular time, they sell out. They can sell back to the owner, they can sell back to a third party, they can raise, you know, debt capital or any other kind of capital to buy them out. Okay. But during that period, the provider of the venture capital or private equity fund is part of the business. There is growth, there is improvement, and everybody is better off. Everybody should be better off, you know. So for the venture capital or private equity folks, they just sell their interest and move on to other things. Okay. The business owner, sometimes we've had cases where the business owner too is happy to sell because the price is very good. He'll just sell his business and go on and do other things. But for the guys coming in, it's an opportunity for them. And there have been many, many cases of, you know, venture capital and private equity investments, a number of celebrated cases that are available for public information. So in terms of awareness, I agree with you that there's limited knowledge of this across board generally in the country. There's a Private Equity and Venture Capital Association of Nigeria, which is like, you know, the membership organization for the fund managers. And last year, in Ogun State in particular, we had invited them in for a series of engagement sessions with both business owners and, you know, other stakeholders. Okay. Unfortunately, it was just before the lockdown, and we had to put it on hold. Okay. We will still arrange it, and I will encourage them to go around the country to, you know, go on air, to publish more, so that people are aware of this type of businesses. The advantage is, you know, for example, you're not under pressure to be servicing interests, bank interest obligations. Yeah. However, you know, psychologically, some people feel, I don't want to give up part of my business, even though it's temporary, because you're still going to get it back if you want to, you know, at the end of the day. They also, you know, bring a lot of advantage, which is, you know, corporate governance. They help you with market access. They clearly bring money into your business, more skills. So it's actually usually very, very beneficial for those that get it. But it's not as easy to get because they have to make sure they are deserving and that they will not lose their money. But it's a very good source of capital, source of funding that I'll encourage entrepreneurs to look into.
All right. On a final note, from the commissioner's desk to the business environment, what do you have to say, like an advice or something?
I would say that we should be optimistic. We should not lose hope. The future is bright. It may not appear obvious now, but we should just keep going. We should keep going. We should believe in Nigeria. We have a lot of potential. We have a lot of resources. We're indeed very blessed in this country. And it's just about, thinking right, looking right, having the right approach to find those opportunities that would help our economy grow, that would help our businesses grow. Continue to believe in Ogun State. It is the gateway state, gateway to prosperity, gateway to good things, and they should just work hard and do their own bit, and we will all win together.
I can feel the passion.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, man. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Sure. All right, this ends this segment, business segments, where we've spoken with the Commissioner for Trade, Industry and Investment, Ogun State. We're going to break, and when we return, we go into the stock market segment where we review activities of yesterday and other stock market reports. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you.
How well do you know your business environment?
The vision of works in that system, whereby we have finance department who can monitor, who know what it takes to and what it takes to take a loan. You have those who know use it. It depends on the type of organization you are running.
It has been observed in Nigeria that it is producer or seller that dictate the price, the quantity, and the quality.
Which area of the economy are you interested in exploring?
As a CEO, as a chairman of the organization, if you're not serving your customers directly, somebody else is in your organization. That brings us to internal customers and external customers.
Do you need informed analysis on the stock market?
But if you are looking for dividend, constant dividend for a company that has potential, that is why you see there's what we call sectoral rotation now.
Then, the Profit Point Business Show on OG TV will take care of all you need to know to grow